So if you follow me on any of my social media platforms, you know that I keep a Reef aquarium system. And when you get into this hobby, one of the biggest expenses is going to be your lighting system. So what I did was I picked up a couple of the most highly rated, low cost, budget friendly lighting systems off of Amazon, because in true big ball vlog style, I'm looking for something that's going to give me the best bang for my buck. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you for tuning in. If you're not so new to the channel, thank you for sticking around and supporting the channel. So I know a lot of you have been tuning in because I do a lot of drone stuff, a lot of tech stuff, but I'm taking it back to the origins. I'm taking it back to doing reviews. I'm doing reviews on things that I use in my everyday life, pay for with my own dime, where I'm looking for the best bang for my buck. So I want to give you those deals. I want to give you that information so you can make an informed purchase. And this video is for other reefers out there, maybe guys who are getting into the hobby for the first time. I mean, we all know that in the reef hobby, people think that you are absolutely insane if you spare any expense on your lighting systems. But a lot of us are sensible, and we want to get something that is the best bang for a buck, that works, that does not break the bank. That's what I've been doing for the last few years. I've been using budget lighting. Currently, I am using what they call a Hipargera black box. It's been working great for me over the last couple of years. I've done some modifications where I took off all of those reflectors, or not reflectors, I took off all of those magnifying lenses and kind of dispersed the light out with a diffuser, and it's absolutely been working pretty good for the last few years. But they have sort of faded away. Black boxes have sort of faded away because a lot of companies are making these fixtures that are kind of mimicking or cloning some of the high-end reef lighting systems, or I don't know what you call it, reef lighting fixtures. And two of the highly most talked about fixtures that you can pick up off of Amazon are these two. I picked this one up, but I'm not going to be talking about it in this video. This is the Aquastar G5 by Smat Farm. Everybody absolutely loves this light. They talk about it highly. I picked up a set, and if you don't want to watch the end, that's the set that I'm actually going to be keeping. And I also picked up this light, which I thought I would do this review on because there are some things that you need to know about this light before you make the purchase, because I am going to be sending this back. And it's for very good reason. But before we get into that, because I want to turn this around and kind of give you something, give you an idea of what I'm talking about using the aquarium in the background, let's go over the pros. So the pros are you're going to get a very nice form, fit, and finish lighting fixture that looks very good over top of the tank. I really did like the fact that this one came with a central mounting, I guess, swivel, that you can actually swivel this around and kind of aim that light in the direction that you wanted it, versus the Smat Farm, which can either be light mounted in this direction or that direction, but you really can't tilt it. I thought that that tilt feature would be helpful to keep the light bleed, to get any of that light that may be leaking outside of the tank back in the tank, and then focusing any of the extra light back to the center of the tank. It has a very nice form, fit, and finish. It has this rubberized texture that I'm assuming is there to keep the light from corroding from the saltwater splash. It has a OLED display. It has two sets of touch sensitive controls, and it has the ability to pair with other lights. Not sure how many, but I'm going to just say an infinite amount, where one of them will be the master and the rest will be the slave. So anytime you make any changes in the settings, it will change all of the lights together. Those are some very, very nice features to come on a relatively low cost light. I did pay more for this light than the Smat Farm because this light was rated at 100 watts. But one of the, I guess, sacrifices that I had to make for the additional wattage was the fact that it didn't have the amount of channels, color channels, to control as the Smat Farm. But with all that said, what you're going to get is something that is probably built by the same manufacturer. In fact, let's take a look at these boxes. This is the box for the G6 Hipargera. This is the box for the G5 Smat Farm, which give you a lot of clues that say that these were built, the boxes themselves were built by the same manufacturer and rebranded by each company. The fact that one is a G5 and the other is a G6. The fact that the power supplies, when you get into the box, are identical. The fact that the mounting brackets are identical tells me that all of these lights are made by the same manufacturer, but bought by different resellers and branded for those different resellers. The fixtures themselves have similar features. Like, they both have fans, they both have the aluminum cooling fins, they both have the rubberized texturing. The only real difference that you see between this is, of course, the LED layout, and also slight changes in the firmware, which is almost identical between the two. So I assumed that I was going to get an identical light, with the exception I was going to sacrifice one lighting channel, which was green, and I was also going to have a different LED layout. But again, let's just get it to the tank so I can talk about it, because I want to show you the features before I get into the reasons why I'm returning it, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about if you're thinking about buying this light. So let's switch this over and get it to the tank. So while I'm getting this switched over, just kind of, sorry about the all blues, because I'm not using plug mode, and it's currently in blue mode. I think the whites come on in about, it looks like about 31 minutes. But yeah, that's the tank right now. It's in blues. It kind of woke up about an hour ago. Everything's kind of starting to expand. I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit so I can get the blues out and give you some video of the Hipargera functions and features. I'll move this a little bit closer to the tank. And let me grab the power supply. Okay, here we go. So first thing I wanted to show you was how this thing kind of functions, to show you that it's not just your everyday cheap light that you're going to pick up. This thing actually has a very cool startup check system that it goes through. I want to plug this in really quickly so you can see it. Go through it, plug that in, it lights up. It's going to say Hipargera. It's going to give you that little firmware splash. And after that, it's going to run through all the channels and run them up and then run them down, and run them up and run them down, and run them up and run them down, testing the output for each one of those channels. It's also going to tell you to test, and it also said RFOK, which means I guess the radio frequency for connecting these to multiple lights is actually working. Now with that said, I want to get into the menus and the features. Like I said, identical or almost identical in both lights. What you're going to do is you're going to hit the OK button, and then you're going to be able to scroll through all of the different settings by hitting one of these plus or minus buttons. So we're going to go down, and it's kind of crazy that plus actually takes it down, which you would think that down would take it down or minus would take it down, but it's actually counting down, I guess. I don't know, by going up 1 2, right? So 1 2 instead of scrolling down. So not very intuitive, but you can figure it out. It's not that hard. So scroll down again, you get tank type. Scroll down again, you get type settings, so that what type of tank do you have, and then what settings are you going to use for that type of tank. And then you have system, which is going to let you get into your system settings. And then you have this thing called group control, which I assume is going to pair all of your lights together. I haven't really gotten that far yet because I've only been playing with one. So I want to scroll back up because I want to kind of show you some of the features inside of each one of these selections. So if we hit real-time brightness, if I do that, what that's going to do is it's just going to show me that right now I've turned all of the brightnesses down to 0 because I wanted to test each one of these channels and show you what each one of these channels does. So I'm going to come back out of that by hitting escape. I'm going to scroll down. I can turn it off and on. I want to go into tank type, and this is a cool feature. Like I said, you're getting some higher end functionality out of these budget lights now these days, where it's not just 2 channels. If I click OK on that, I can actually select the type of tank that I have, which they call these lights set and forget. Like if you don't know how to program, you don't have a par meter, you don't know what to do and how to get the right lighting spectrum, set it for SPS if you have an SPS dominant tank. If you have an LPS dominant tank, set it for LPS. If you have a mixed tank, set it for that. If you have a freshwater tank, set it for that. You get the point. And then you have self-defined, where you can create your own little custom settings and use those. I'm going to escape from that because I do want to leave it in self right now. I'm going to escape from that. And I'm going to go down, and that is to type settings. So now that we've picked the type of tank, we can go in and modify the actual settings for each one of those types. So I'm going to go back into self because, again, I want to come up with my own program instead of using the individual programs that are the default programs that are already built into or programmed into the lighting system. I'm going to click OK. And inside of that, once you get into that, you're going to go in and you're going to be able to click your sunrise time. So it's going to ask you, when do you want the sun to come up? So if you want to follow like your daily lighting sunrise schedules in your zip code or area code or wherever you may live, time zone, maybe that's a better description of a sunrise. You can set the settings by clicking that and then clicking OK. So this one is currently set as the sunrise is going to come up at it's going to start at 7 a.m. and it's going to be full sunrise by 8 a.m. All right, so you get the point. Do the same thing for sunset. Go down, go down. You got moon time. Moon time is, I'm going to click OK. Moon time is how long you want the moon lights to be on. So some people will set the moon lights to be on maybe 2 or 3 hours after the sun setting goes off, or it goes down. Sorry, let's get that to focus again. I'm gonna hit escape because I've been playing with these just to kind of get them to come on at various times of the day, and I have to change the time on them. And then you do the same thing with the sunlight schedule. So what time is the sunlight schedule going to be on? So hit OK. Oh no, I'm sorry, let's back that out. I hit the wrong thing. So sunlight is actually setting the actual the power, or the adjusting the actual, man, what am I looking for here? The word I'm looking for. To adjust the power. I'm going to say the power of each LED spectrum, or each LED setting that you're going to use. So channel A, which I believe, I don't know what it does, is at 0 right now. Channel B is at 90. Channel C is at 90. Channel D is at 90. And channel E is also at 0. So what I want to show you is, because this is the reason I'm going to take this back, I'm going to try to focus this just a little bit so you can see what I'm seeing right now. Right now, I want to turn all of these to 0. So I'm going to go hit OK. And I'm going to scroll up until I get all of these to 0. Okay. Okay. Okay, so they're all set at 0 right now, so that means all of the lights are currently off. Now here's the thing, and the reason why I'm going to send this back. On the Smat Farm, you get a 6 channel, and that's the green channel. And that green channel, for me, I didn't know what it would do, but it's mainly for coloration. And when I use that green channel, it makes the greens pop a little bit more in my aquarium. It also kind of takes the blue out of the water. So when I'm looking down in the tank, instead of seeing a dark blue tank, when I'm ramping up those greens, it starts to clear that water out so it looks more clear instead of blue, having a blue coloration. But the reason that I want to return these is because these channels do not work independent of each other, like the I guess the manuals or the Amazon description says. It has 5 channels, but each one of those colors does not work independent. So what I want to do is, first thing I want to do is I want to try to keep it like this so you can see it, but I don't think you're going to be able to see it because it's going to blind out the camera. So I'm going to try to keep it on an angle. So first thing I want to do is I want to show you the fact that if you look at this, there are, let's see, 12, 13, 14 LEDs in that center, and there are 5 in each one of these clusters here. When I was playing with this, the only LEDs that light up in any of the settings that I use are these 6 in the center. And I'm only assuming that is because I'm using it on saltwater mode, and these other LEDs maybe for freshwater settings, because there is no way using all the different channels and adjusting them that I can get those all 14 of those LEDs to light up at the same time. And I'm also missing LEDs on the outer pucks. So I am not getting, if this is saying that this is a 100 watt light, I am not getting full 100 watt capability because it is not using all of the LEDs. And I'm going to try to show you that. It may not come across as easy as I thought it would, but I want to try to show you that. So the first thing is, if I click on the A channel, so we're going to go back to OK. Scan by it. I'm on the A channel, and I am setting this in my own settings right now, so I don't know why it wouldn't work, because it's not in saltwater. I mean, it doesn't think that it's in saltwater or freshwater mode. It just thinks that I'm setting on my own custom setting. I'm going to click that to level 1. Let's go up to level 1. And when I look at the bottom, let's see, you got 6 in the middle, and you got 4, you got 10 lights that light up. These all appear to be white and blue. So that's a blue, these are white, and these appear to be white. It doesn't really get brighter than that. So that's level 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back the other direction. I'm going to set that to level 100. It still doesn't appear to be any brighter than when it's at level 1. So right now it's at level 100. So I'm going to go back to level 1. And to me, to the human eye, it doesn't appear to be any brighter at level 1 than it is at 100. And I tested that over the tank. So I put it over the tank, turn off all the spectrums. I went from level 1 to level 100, and I did not see any coloration or anything change inside the aquarium. All right, so that's reason number one why I'm going to return it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that back down to 0. I'm going to go to the next channel. I'm going to hit that to, again, level 1. So level 1. All right, let me get that to focus. Level 1, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. So I'm going to turn that up. Right now we're at level 50. Let's go to 50. And at 50, I don't see anything. So I don't even know what channel 2 does because it's not controlling. Apparently it doesn't control anything. I don't see any of these lights light up. Since I'm looking at this under my camera, I should at least see something coming out of the ultraviolets, and I don't see any glow or anything coming out of the ultraviolet. So I'm going to turn that back down to 0. Now let's go to channel 3. Now remind you, all of these are supposed to control individual channels per the manual. Each one of these is supposed to be its own coloration. That's supposed to be white. That's supposed to be all the blue channels. And the last one's supposed to be warm white. So we're going to go channel 3. We're going to hit that and we're going to go to level 1. And now with level 1, I see I got a mixture of blues. It looks like I got some darker blues and some lighter blues here. But while you can't tell under the camera, they are all blues. If you look at all these pucks, they're now all illuminated blue. So this one, channel 3, is controlling maybe 2 different color spectrums of blue. And we're going to go back down to 0. And we're going to go to, I keep saying 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Let's see, do it the right way. A, B, C. Now we're on D. Now on D, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hit a power up to 1. And when I hit 1, I'm getting violet spectrum. So as you can see, I got some ultraviolets and I got some other violets. I got ultraviolet, and I got some other violets. So right now, C and D control all of the blues and all of the violets. Channel 1 controls who knows what, don't know. It only has some whites and blues mixed together instead of separating them out. And I'm going to turn that off real quick. And then the last channel, we're going to go to channel E. We're going to hit the +1. And you can see I got a mixture of cool white and warm white. I didn't expect that from this fixture, because the Smat Farm, I can control each one of those channels individually and get the color spectrum that I'm looking for. This one seems to mix them together. While it claims that it has individual, dimming of each channel, it even shows each channel in the manual as A, B, C, and D. These are blended together in the control. So strike 1. Second thing is I'm going to now turn these up to about 90%. I'm going to turn them all up to I'm going to turn them all to 100%, because it only takes me a couple seconds to turn them all to 100%. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. So now they're all at 100%. And you can kind of see I got the light spectrum here. I know all of my lights are currently on in the aquarium. Right now I'm going to tip this back up because I got to get this back up real quick. Sorry, I know this is a long video. So I'm going to tip this back up. Okay. Now my tank is currently in all blues. And what I want to do is I want to take this light and I want to hold it underneath my lighting system over top of the tank and kind of give you an idea of what you should expect when you put that out there. So when I put that under there, that coloration at a 100% looks like trash to me. And I'm being honest with you. The coloration right now, if those are all at 100%, looks like absolute trash. And the coloration that I got using the Smat Farm was actually pretty nice, with the exception that the white channel was blinding white. It looks like it bleaches almost all of your corals, but this color spectrum is absolutely trash. It doesn't look, the spread is that good. It's low, and that was another thing. I was like, hold on, man. This actually looks dimmer at a 100 watts than the 90 watt light that I have. So let me get my hands out of the way there, because I am blocking one of the LEDs. It actually looks, it appears to be dimmer. It looks like it is running at half power at 100% of all channels. If I turn the Smat Farm up to 50%, it is blasting light through this tank. So there is definitely some, what I could say, false advertisement going on with this lighting system that I do not know what reason or why they would do it this way when they have the ability to program it to control all the channels. They mix them together, and also they're advertising it as 100 watts, and it seems to be much less than that. And the coloration, because you can't individually change the whites, so I personally don't like the bright whites set that high or the cool whites set that high. I prefer to have the cool white set at like 1 and then turn the warm whites up to like 20, and it takes the blue out of the tank. You can control that on this. They're mixed together, and it actually gives me the same coloration with a little less, power. Not a little less, a lot less power than the Vipar Spectra that I'm currently using right now at about 40% of the power range. So what I want to do is I want to also, like I said, I wanted to give you an idea of what that shimmer that I was talking about was. So I'm going to go through these again. I'm going to turn these all down to 0. And right now what you see is my tank, and as you can see, you can't see it. You can see that, like, that little reflection going on from the water turbulence on top of the tank, but it's not really there. It's like not distracting. It's barely there. It's almost similar to what I would get when I was using T5s, a very calm looking tank that doesn't distract you because you have sort of a flash going on, something that could probably give you like an epileptic seizure if you looked at it too long. It doesn't have that flash going on. So I'm going to turn these back up again, and I'm going to hold this cluster over because these clusters are a little bit tighter together, and you can take a look at what that disco ball effect looks like. Let me turn them all up off camera. I want to get them all up again. And I want to put that back over top of the tank. Let's get this closer. And see that? Without me even putting it over top of the tank, look at all that disco ball or shimmer. It's not as bad as the Smat Farm because the lights are spread out a little bit more, but it still doesn't look that great. You can see like a lot of disco ball and a lot of shimmer in there. I mean, like I said, less than the Smat Farm, but just not calm like that. So give me a second and I'm going to finish up this video. So yeah, if you stuck around this long, and this is probably not one of my best videos because there's just so much to do. If you stuck around this long, to summarize, the Hipargera probably isn't what it's rated to be. It's probably not a 100-watt light. Like I said, if it is, the Smat Farm must be like 200 watts because it literally puts out twice as much light as the Hipargera. The other thing about the Hipargera is that, like I said, the channels are not individually controllable. They are mixed together, and I have no idea why on the B channel I get nothing. So that is a firmware issue that they may need to look into for, let's see, $30 more, because I think, like I said, I paid $130 for the Smat Farms and $160 for these. It is not the buy that you want to pick at the moment. Maybe they'll come up with some kind of firmware update down the line if they see this video, but this is not the light that you want to pick. Looking at the videos online of people's tanks, it looks absolutely great under blues, and maybe with the adjustment because you're playing with your camera settings, and I know with the S22 Ultra I can play it in pro mode and kind of adjust the light and balance the light spectrums coming out of it. But nah, stick with the lower cost Smat Farm for now, because this one, it's not what it says it's going to be. So these are going to be boxed up today and sent back today so I can get my $300 back. And if you're interested in what the Smat Farm looks like or what the Smat Farm can do, I know there's a lot of videos out there right now for it. Stick around. I'll be doing more videos about stuff like this soon. Peace.